back to Dr. Patterson's discussion, because I'm the executive sponsor of Sakurna's project. Certainly, manufacturing is dear and near to my heart. I know that the circular RNA circularization step and the purification step are two biggest bottlenecks. But now, when you look at this circular RNA manufacturing from a therapeutic developer, why is manufacturing such a big deal? Can you just shed some light on this?
Yeah, so before I get into that, I just want to answer why uBriGene for Sakurna. It was not the only option we had. We had other companies. Personally, I knew the founder, I knew of or knew the founders and other members from a prior CDMO that they worked at with one of the clients in my law firm that spoke very highly of uBriGene. We were very impressed with the technical team at uBriGene, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but they had a lot of faith in us too. So they've taken some of the payment and shares in the company, which we believe was a significant bet on Sakurna by them, but well, we've also eventually be a significant financial return for them. But I think Scott did an excellent job of identifying why circular is hard to manufacture. When you do linear RNA, you just create the linear RNA, put the end caps on, you're done. With circular, you start with the plasmid DNA, you produce the linear. We have sequences we've engineered at both ends of the circle to autocatalytically circularize, but it's not 100%, right? 50 to 60, maybe we get over 60% circularization at the outset, so there's contaminants. And it's removing the contaminants, which sounds like, well, it shouldn't be that difficult. But the reality is the linear RNA and the circular RNA, as Scott said, are not very different in size. You see two bands, but they're not very far apart from each other. The other thing is it's not just the linear, it's nicked RNA and other stuff in it. The threshold for purity is generally 85 to 90%. You need to have 85 to 90% circular. With the team at uBriGene, we've been over 95%. Which we believe is potentially industry leading, wouldn't be surprised. So it's getting rid of that. Some companies do the circularization with enzymes, as Dr. Patterson Scott explained. Enzymes are expensive. When you want to go to commercial scale, where you're talking about creating tens and hundreds of millions of doses, it's going to have a huge impact on the price. The second one is that some companies are using enzymes for purification, particularly an enzyme called RNA-SAR. We're not aware of really commercial scale GMP manufacturing of RNA-SAR at a reasonable price. It is very expensive, as Scott mentioned. And so one of the mantras we had at Sakurna from the very beginning was that we would not use enzymes. And so as Dr. Patterson and Scott showed, we've developed a method to get high purity, high yield, and we believe low cost through essentially chromatography, not using enzymes. But even saying that, it's getting rid of the linear and other materials, which is very difficult. Even with the reason RNA-SAR is an issue is not just it's expensive and drives your cost per dose up considerably. It's also because it does do a lot of off-target killing circular. And I can't say what the companies use in RNA-SAR, what their yield is, but in our hands, the yield was generally under 20-25% with RNA-SAR at lab scale. So we knew that was not optimal. But again, it's removal of the different components that are considered contaminants and doing it to a minimum 85-90% purity. And in all honesty, with circular RNA, probably the hardest part of it. The RNA itself, you can engineer sequences. The issue now is getting around everybody's patent portfolios, including Sakurna's. The lipid nanoparticles, there's probably 50 companies around the world doing lipid nanoparticles now, including tissue targeting. But the manufacturing process is where companies get stuck. And, we know that Orbital's used, which was bought for 1FBM by BMS, is using enzymes. We also know that Orna, which was supposed to be in clinical trials for their CD19 in vivo CAR autoimmune treatment, I believe as early as next month or June, is allegedly delayed theirs because of manufacturing issues. So, it is the greatest hurdle, and we think we've overcome it with a non-enzyme method to get rid of all those contaminants. And again, the issue with the contaminants is when you're looking on a gel, they don't look a lot different size-wise. So it's not necessarily very easy to get rid of them.
Wow, it's great to know. Just for the audience, the the kind words that Dr. Weinstein said about us was not scripted. So I truly appreciate your kindness.